through 3 hours of the regular show on terrestrial radio, and you wanted a little bit more, so that's why you found the Gun Talk After Show podcast, where we saved all the best things that we can't say on regular radio. Now here's Tom, Michelle, and Jim for the Gun Talk After Show.
After show time. It is just the guys today because we ditched Michelle, right?
Yep.
You can just call me not.
Not Michelle. So, Tom Henning, do people, when they call, they say, wait, you're not Michelle?
Oh, yeah, still.
You should just answer, hello, I'm not Michelle. Let's get over it. You know?
Can we move on, please? I'm not Michelle.
So, there it is. So that's just what it is.
We have a veteran listener.
Listener?
Yeah, listener. Yeah, I don't know if he's necessarily a military veteran, but he's a listener of the after show.
The after show. Okay, yes. Well, let's grab John and out of Salina, Kansas. Hey, John, thanks for your patience.
Oh, no problem. Yes, sure. I said this is a bonus because I get to hear the after show before I don't have to wait like a day to hear it. So I can hear the first part.
So, all right. So you've listened to the after show before, so you know to expect absolutely nothing organized here, right?
It is my favorite part of the show.
All right.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I listen to the other 3 hours, but I have to listen to the after show on the podcast.
Cool. All right.
And I like Tom too. I mean, he's on the show, but Tom's fine, too.
He's a good man.
I'm going to assume that he's talking about the other Tom, but that's my defensive mechanism.
Yes. I mean, Tom's great. We know he's wonderful, and I'll congratulate you, too, for the Lifetime Achievement Award that you picked up at GRPC.
Oh, so you were at GRPC, were you?
This was my first one, and I know you've talked about it. Of course, you had the broadcast from there, but I was at the meeting, so I couldn't hear it because I was still at the meeting. But I thought I'd call in as a first-time Gun Rights Policy Conference attendee.
Cool.
Good.
I went strictly because I'd heard you talking about it, and I said, that really sounds like something very interesting. It was everything you said it was and more, and I think hyperbole is appropriate. Because it just exceeded my expectations. I'm not sure what I was expecting, but I came away even more impressed than I
I know sometimes I worry that it sounds like I am just hyping this thing and saying, this thing really is amazing and you really ought to go. And people are going to go, oh, come on, Tom. I mean, really.
That is exactly why I wanted to call in, because I've not been to anything like that. And I came away with a lot of the same things you've said. Number one, we have to have, by far and away, the most effective spokespeople for us are going to be women, minorities, LGBT. Mm-hmm. I mean, anybody that listened to the numerous speakers from those various groups, they were more impassioned.
They were off the charts good. Yes. They really were phenomenal. And as you looked around GRPC, the crowd, there's more than 1,000 people there. Was it not, I don't know how it affected you. I just say, for me, it gave me that big old warm feeling to say, wow, look at this. We are represented by Hispanics and blacks and gays and, the LGBT community. And, just everybody was there. And I'm saying, okay, now we're starting to really look like America here.
And everybody was there and everybody got along just fine.
Even the lady from the Liberal Gun Club. She says, I probably don't agree with you on anything else, but I agree with you on guns.
Well, I wanted to argue with her on that. I thought, if you picked up 10 other different political issues, you'd probably get a smattering of different opinions from all around the room. So
I think you're right.
It's not like that was the only...
Yeah, don't assume. Okay, and I interrupt you. I'm going to let you go ahead and just talk. All right, so you go to GRPC. You don't have any idea what to expect. You paid your own money. You went out to Phoenix. So describe the experience.
I got there late on Friday night. The gal said, oh, yeah, the reception's over there in our smallest area. I thought, oh, great. It's not going to be that big. I went over, and it was just breaking up. People were just leaving, so I didn't really get to see it. And I thought, man, there may not be as many people here as I thought. I will go down the next morning at 7 o'clock, and the line stretched clear across the foyer. I mean, it was probably 100 people long, and most of us for registration. I'd pre-registered, but they said, hey, we're starting, just come on in, you can register at one of the breaks. which I did. Well over 1,000 people there. The room was packed. They had to get extra chairs. I know there were people sitting there. Everybody was very courteous. Everybody got along very well. I think anybody who wasn't a Second Amendment person would come in there with all of their prejudices and realize I'm completely wrong about this. These people are, like you said, they're America. And for my part, I actually came away feeling better. I said, we may actually be ahead, not having the NRA as our face. If we get a million people who are just individually, everybody's calling their congressmen, their senators, so forth, and it's not just the lobbyists from the NRA who says we have 5 million members. It's like now we're hearing from people. I think that may actually carry more sway than the NRA. I'm not a politician or anything.
That's an interesting idea. People maybe have been thinking that the NRA was their security blanket. If we have them, we don't have to do anything. And now they look at it and go, well, the NRA is a mess right now. I know that there are people that are working on this, but it's just a mess, and we all have to get involved. And as a result, I think that's why we had that record crowd there. I think people just said, okay, I got to get involved.
I think so, too. When I got home, I knew a couple of young ladies. I'm about your age, Tom, so everybody looks young to me. But I knew some younger women who I knew were shooters, and one of them I found out has her concealed carry. But I said, I sought them out, and I said, look, I want you to see a couple of things. I played them a couple of videos I'd taken of some of the speakers, and I said, I will help you guys go to the next meeting. I said, you guys really need to get involved in this. And they were very excited about it. And, they were supporters. Now I think they'll actually be voices.
Get involved. For those who don't know, let me just say also, you can see the speakers. It was live streamed, but also they recorded them all. And if you go to the Facebook page for the Second Amendment Foundation, they have the videos of everybody. One thing I wanted to get you to address, John, if you would.
Sure.
Julian Versnell, who is Alan Gottlieb's wife, she does a bang-up job of keeping this thing moving. And I'm telling you, man, you don't go long when Julianne is standing behind you at the podium.
Well, there was one guy sitting beside me, and he kind of made, of course, in the intro, Alan referred to her. They did a little Q&A with each other, and he said, now, why does they call you the timer Nazi or something like that?
Right.
And I've been in meetings, I've run meetings, and I said, no, I can see exactly why she has to do that. Because if you just do the seemingly kind thing and let people just keep running, then pretty soon somebody gets up there, and I think she made it clear. And she made it clear ahead of time. I think every speaker knew that she was going to be up there, and that's the other big difference.
That's it. I mean, she ran that ship, and it ran on time, and by golly, okay, she's all right. Everybody get off the stage, next group on. We're going to put, and the thing is, we're putting like 10 people on the stage at one time, and you each have 5 minutes. And I'm talking about 5 minutes. We're not talking about 6 minutes here, And then, the real hard part is when you got the whole stage full of lawyers, and you tell them you only have 5 minutes.
Well, and the lawyers, bless their hearts, they're doing a lot of darn good work for us. But boy, the impassioned people were the people we don't usually hear from.
Yes.
That we don't think.
I agree completely. The people who the Taj, Maj Touré, the Babes with Bullets people, the women, the African American activists. I mean, it just goes on and on. You're going, man, these are people who are carrying the message. And I guess what I'd like for you to do is when you got back, you said something briefly, and I think we skipped over it. You came away thinking that maybe we're actually not behind, we're actually ahead.
I think we sure have the potential to be ahead.
Okay.
The NRA falling down, I think, has the potential to be a huge plus. If you get 100,000 people or 1 million people that say, okay, I got to do this myself. You said something about not being so secretive about it. And in my job, I don't preach politics or something, but when I got in the Uber to go back to the airport, I said hi to the young lady, and she said, hi, what are you here for business? I said, well, no, I was at the Gun Rights Policy Conference. She goes, really? And, she obviously didn't know anything about it. And I said, Yeah. I said, just a lot of people who believe in rights and want to defend ourselves and our families and so forth. And I could tell that she was completely naive about this. And I said, well, let me just ask a question. Has murder or have gun-related deaths gone up or down in the last 20 years in this country? And she was smart enough to realize that it was
a trap.
She said, well, she said, I think they've gone up. And I said, well, I said they're down by 50%. And she goes, really? I said, yeah, but nobody'd ever get that if they just listen to the news. She goes, no. So I figure if I left her with that one fact,
right,
that will maybe get the wheels turning. I don't expect to see her.
And that's what I was talking about, what you were referring to when I was speaking to the group. I said, take every opportunity to be an evangelist, to bring up the subject. Bring up the subject. I don't care if it's in the checkout line or the person. I always love the person sitting next to you on the airline. Boy, you talk about trapped. They can't get away from you. But good on you for bringing it up. And it feels good when you do it. You almost never get the pushback you think you're going to get. That's always interesting.
Yes, and certainly in that one instance, that was indeed the case. I think I was presenting myself fairly well. I was reasonably well-dressed and friendly, and I think that, that's not what she thought somebody that carried the gun or was a strong Second Amendment.
So are you going to be there next year? Or are you coming next year to Orlando?
Well, I am retiring, so my time is my own. This year I happen to have that weekend off. I end up working every other weekend. So, by gosh, I'm planning to be in Orlando, and I've pretty much talked one of the gals into it. I said, you need to be there. And she said, I will. I said, okay.
That's funny. My buddy Dan said, yeah. I said, I'm going to be there next year. I'm going to bring half a dozen people with me next year. It's that important. I should have been going to this all along, but now that I've been, it was his first time too. He said, I'll be back, and I'm going to bring people with me. That is
I actually had my brother signed up. He's an attorney, but unfortunately he ended up being in the hospital and couldn't make it. But I said, you got to go with me next year. And he said he will.
Excellent. John, thank you so much. And look, thank you for making the leap. It's a leap of faith to decide to spend money and go across the country and go to this thing where you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know who you're going to meet. You don't know if it's real, if it's going to be goofy, if there are going to be weird people there. Well, there were, because I was there, but that's a different whole deal altogether.
Nice.
But thank you. I really appreciate this, seriously.
We're interesting people and impassioned people. Nikki, and I don't know her last name.
Nikki Stollard. Nikki Stollard.
She was something else.
Nikki's a hoot. Nikki is a hoot. We've had her on the show a number of times with Pink Pistols, and I asked her, describe yourself. She says, and she's got this whole thing of, let's see, I'm a post-surgery transgender thing, and it goes on and on and on. But you talk about somebody who's a Second Amendment purist. Just get out the way when Nikki starts.
Oh, yeah. And is it Mike Walters? It was the MC the second day.
Mark Walters from Armed American Radio.
Mark Walters. Yeah. And he said afterwards, I didn't catch it. I wish I would have kept recording, because he said, he just was shaking his head. He says, I always love to hear whatever Nikki's going to say.
That's right. Exactly. You're going, I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm going to listen, by golly, because it's going to be interesting. Cool. All right, John, look, we got to scoot here. Thank you so much. Tell you what, I will see you next year in Orlando at GRPC. It's going to be the year 2020. It's going to be right before the presidential election. I guarantee it'll be interesting. Thank you again. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, bye.
All right, take care. All right, we'll be right back.
Temps are dropping and the leaves are changing, which means it's time to think outerwear from Proper. From mid-temperature fleece pullovers and soft-shell jackets, to packable wind and rain protection, to the frigid-fighting 3-in-1 hard-shell parka, Proper has you covered, no matter your budget or how bad it gets outside. Visit Proper.com for the complete lineup of Proper outerwear to keep warm throughout the chilly months.
When the U.S. military's elite units and law enforcement agencies across the globe demanded innovation and reliability, they didn't settle. They chose Sig Sauer. When world champion professional shooters demanded precision accuracy, they didn't settle. They chose Sig Sauer. So it's no surprise more and more civilian gun owners are refusing to settle for anything less. They're choosing Sig Sauer firearms, ammunition, electro-optics, suppressors, air guns, and training. Sig Sauer. Never settle.
All right, I really appreciate that call from John. It's kind of that look from somebody who goes the first time and you walk in going, I don't know what I'm getting into here. That was good, wasn't
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, he said, it started out, he said that, Tom, I'm about your age. I was going to ask him, well, who dialed the phone for you, John?
Did you get the staff to come make the call for you and hand you the phone?
They just wheeled him on in. And
That's right. Thanks a lot, guys. I know you got my back here.
Well, that was cool because
that's that stabbing feeling I have back there.
Right,
Okay.
right. It was kind of neat because you would expect a newbie to be more of a, and I don't use the term derogatorily. I mean, it's what it is. Somebody new to that, you would expect more likely to see at a SHOT Show or something like that, or a NRA show. But to go to something about litigation and legislation and everything else, that's great.
Yeah.
And he's one of the guys that brought the numbers up from 800 to, 1150?
Yeah, about that. Yeah, it was amazing. And the fact that he went back and located friends who says, basically, he's going to help them get there, which means he's going to help pay their way. Mm-hmm. It is one of those things, the first time you go, oh, I had no idea. Mm-hmm. Just had no idea what was going on here. All I know is the press releases I get from the NRA or GOA or SAF, and then you walk into this thing and it's like, whoa, talk about full immersion, fire hose, drinking and all of that, and you come away just like, that was awesome.
In addition, these people that you respect and that you've heard about throughout the industry for years are approachable. It's not like, they're so far away and you got to go through all these people to get to them, and you just talk to them on an elevator kind of feel is what it sounds like to me.
I mean, you walk up to John Lott, for heaven's sakes, and you can just talk to Professor John Lott about gun rights and his research and all of that. I mean, you can walk up and talk to the leading attorneys who have argued cases in front of the Supreme Court, in front of the major cases on gun rights.
That would be interesting.
And they are, no kidding, like the biggest brains in the room. But what's interesting is, and I don't know how, but they, at least in my experience, they all check the egos at the door, and they're all working toward a goal. And that is really interesting to see.
Well, we'll have to take your word for it until we go, Tom.
Well, I know, and we're going to have to figure out the logistics of getting you guys there and still doing the show live from there.
Yeah, that would be great.
That's the whole deal. Somebody's got to be back in the studio, and, it's like short straw time.
By next year, it'll all be on a cell phone app anyway. So
this is true. That's right. I'll just place a call to 1 million people. How about that?
Go.
That'd be cool.
Go group text.
Yeah, I hope we got a really good data plan going there.
Nice.
Oh, Lordy. So anyway, that was fun. Let's see. In a few days, I'm going to head out to Idaho. Mm-hmm. Going to take the rifles out, and I was excited to finally. I got these rifles, and then I had to get scopes, and they didn't come in, and then I got a scope set up, and I had a problem with one of the rings. I actually broke a Torx wrench off.
Oh no!
In a Torx head. I've never seen that happen. So it must be all of this manly strength I have.
I was thinking more like Taiwanese tools, but...
man, I think you're probably right. But what was interesting was I put another set of rings on, and they were a little bit higher, and I really like my scope to be low. So when I put the rifle to my shoulder and cheek it hard, I'm looking through the scope. Mm-hmm. And now with the scope mounted a little bit higher, when I cheek the rifle, my eye is actually below the scope a little bit. Uh-oh. I don't like that. So... I think it's Beartooth Outfit makes a slip-on sleeve for the stock. It's elastic, and it has inserts, foam inserts you can slide in to adjust the height of the comb up and down So I put that on. It also has some shell loops on it. So since it's a single shot, I'd like to have some extra ammo somewhere. But that works slick as all get out. Now the comb is raised, and when I put the rifle to my shoulder and cheek it hard, I'm looking right through the scope. That was slick.
Oh, that's kind of neat. You still got to dial her in, though.
Well, yeah. I mean, you got to sight it in the rifle, of course. But in terms of just having it set up so my eye is at the right height, that did. And then I also, on the other rifle, I put a leather cartridge holder. It's basically a cuff, if you will. It goes all the way around and laces up. And I got that from Andy's Leather. And I don't know, somebody on the line said, hey, this is a good outfit. And I didn't know anything about them. I just went on the website and looked at it and went, yeah, that looks good. I just ordered it out of the blue.
Cool.
And got a nice note from Andy, who I guess listens to the show. I didn't know that. But for those who are interested in cool, well-made leather products, Andy's Leather, I can recommend them.
Sweet.
Make good stuff.
Nice.
So, kind of one of those. There are all sorts of people making cool stuff out of their garages and things like this. And
what can you turn a garage into?
You could turn a garage into anything, can't you?
Yes.
Well, didn't
maybe
Microsoft
a recording
start
studio, for example?
Microsoft started in a garage.
Yes, it did. I like Tom's idea, recording studio. Well, we got this garage. We don't know what to do. Every building I walk into, I'm like, if I was going to convert this to a studio, I would.
Well, isn't that why Apple has the name of their audio program, which is GarageBand?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
See that?
Well, next week, I will be in Michigan sighting in my hunting rifle.
Ooh, talk to me. What is it?
Oh, you know what it is.
What it
is? The 8mm Mauser.
That's way too old to kill a deer.
Well, the deer's got to be old, too. Yeah.
You can only shoot old deer.
Right.
Oh, man.
8mm Mauser is a really old cartridge. Oh, it's a really good cartridge, by the way.
Yeah.
It's 8mm is 32 caliber. And the nice part about that is it's not a Magnum, so it doesn't kick really hard, and yet it hits really hard. That's cool.
Oh, yeah. It knocks them down for sure.
I guess it would.
Yeah, Tom's got all the odd stuff.
How'd you come by that rifle?
Oh, it was one of those awful, terrible private sales that you hear so much about.
Oh, loophole, Tom.
Oh, no.
Friend of mine
he's got a vortex, not a loophole.
Yeah, it was from a friend who was getting up there in years and couldn't go hunting anymore, so he sold it to me.
Huh. Okay. Well, that works. Good
now,
deal.
have you ever had to get parts or anything for it?
Did I have to get parts?
Have you ever had to get any parts or anything for it?
No.
Do you work on it or anything?
No, and I don't know where or when, but it had been sporterized.
Okay.
So it's not the original wood stock, but of course that makes it a lot lighter and easier to carry in the woods when it's not the original. So
cool. Let's see. I'm looking up the 8mm Mauser here. Let's see.
Model 98.
That's a much safer round than the and lighter round than the Wicked 223.
Right. Yeah, because it's a 7x92 by 57. Let's see, adopted by the German Empire in 1903.
Cool.
Correct.
And that is very cool. So we're talking going in the Wayback Machine here.
116.
What's that?
116 years? Or 1903.
Oh, yeah.
116 years.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, the one I have actually still has the little Nazi swastika and eagle on the barrel.
Really?
Does
it? Yes, it does.
That's very cool.
Oh, that's neat.
That's just like, now, obviously not a collector's item because it's been sporterized and all that. But that still is kind of just historically interesting. And no, for those who are thinking, oh, you guys like the Nazis. No. We hate the Nazis, but it's just a piece of interesting history that we kind of can refer to and go, okay, that's kind of interesting. But yeah, this cartridge actually predates the Nazis by a lot, 30 years or so.
Yeah.
Well, cool. So, do you have any problem finding ammo for it?
No, I don't. And I've got I wouldn't say a stockpile. That's not. I don't have like 1,000.
3 rounds.
That's good for 3 deer.
Yeah.
No, but I can just go right down to Cleveland's and order a box. They don't usually have it in stock, but they can order it for me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's one of those that you probably want to make sure you have it with you, not figure that you're going to be finding it. Now, where in Michigan are you going?
Manistee National Forest, which is kind of vague because it covers a huge area.
Okay, that's good. Keep it vague. That's right. Don't tell people exactly where you're going to be.
Yeah, I'll tell you where my blind is. It's right by...
It's right here. Here's the GPS coordinates, and you can all come down there and join me. It'll be great.
No, but yeah, just it'll be nice going up there
Beautiful.
See old buddies again, go to deer camp and spend a week and just.
So are your leaves turning already?
Up there, yeah, I'm sure they are. I haven't been there in a while. I'll find out next weekend when I go up there.
Okay. Well, you'll have to give us a range report on how it was. And, we want pictures, too. I want to see this deer, okay?
Okay, I'll send you an old picture and claim that it was this most recent one.
How would I know, right? Now, do you have a scope on it, on your rifle? Yeah,
just a cheap little Bushnell Sport View.
Works fine.
Yep,
hey.
3 to 9.
Perfect. That's all you need. It'll work. Now, when's the last time you shot it?
Last Thanksgiving Day when I got my 8-point buck.
Are you going to have a chance to shoot it again to make sure it's sighted in?
That's what this next weekend is for.
Oh, okay. All right.
Not actually going hunting until November. This weekend is prep
this is
weekend.
Your go prep and shoot it and all that. Good.
Yep. Yeah, and once you dial in, make sure you drop it a bunch on the garage floor and stuff. Don't put it in a case or anything.
Yeah. Speaking of, I just ordered some more locks for my airline case, my gun case. I've been using this outfit, securitysnobs.com, and I'm buying Abloy brand padlocks. Mm-hmm. They are expensive. Before anybody goes there and goes, I can get 4 master locks at Ace Hardware for $9.95. Yes, these cost $45 each for these padlocks. And nobody's going to cut through them. We have actually had TSA cut the locks off of gun cases. And they say, well, we don't do that. I said, well, you did. Well, then we don't do that, though. And then finally I talked to the TSA PR person. I said, well, would you like to see the pictures of the note left inside by TSA after they cut the locks off? Well, and then the answer was, well, we're not supposed to do that. I said, yes, now we are in agreement. Yes, they're not supposed to do that. And then to make matters worse, because they did that, the gun case did not make the flight with us. So it came later, and then when it got there, they sent it to us at our location, which was, 50 miles away from the airport, via taxi with the gun case simply zip-tied closed.
Oh, my God.
What
could go wrong?
Yeah, who knows, right.
So now Tom puts 37 locks on each gun case just to mess with TSA.
Well, and for those who don't know, you cannot use TSA-approved locks on a gun case. It's actually against the law because you can't use a lock that anybody else has access to by law.
Okay, gotcha.
So, and then occasionally we will have somebody like a ticket agent say, well, just give me the key. And we go, no, can't do that. What do you mean? Well, that's actually against the law. Well, that's what we do here. Well, I'm sorry, that's against the law.
You could open it for them, right?
What's that?
You could open it for them, but you can't.
I can open it for them, and I will certainly hand the key to the TSA agent if I can still see the case. But I'm not going to give them the key to go back somewhere and open up my gun case. That's not happening. And, occasionally they'll say, well, then you're not going to be able to fly. I say, well, I'm just telling you, you're asking me to commit a felony. So where are we going to go with this? That's we're going to have to do something here. Find a way.
And they don't know their own laws.
They don't know the rules. Yeah. No, they don't know the laws. They don't know their own rules. And I will say that is such a rarity because generally it just is a piece of cake. I simply walk up to the ticket counter. By the way, you cannot check your guns at the curbside when you have guns. Yeah, you can't check your bags there.
Right.
Go in and you have to declare them. And all you do is say this: I need the firearms declaration card.
You don't walk in and say, I got a gun.
I got a gun.
As loud as you can.
Yeah.
And repeat it.
Always a good idea. Yeah. So, you say, I need the card for the firearms. So the card is what you're asking for. And you literally fill out your name and address and sign the back of it, which just says the gun's unloaded. Sometimes they'll say, I have to look at it to see if it's unloaded. Usually when they do that, you open the case, they glance at it and go, okay, it looks good. They have no idea.
Right, they're not guns.
But often they don't even do that. They just say, here's the card, just stick it in the case. You stick it in the case and go on, which is okay too. But please, people, make sure they're unloaded. There have been a couple of tragic accidents of baggage handlers dropping the case and having a gun go off and shoot a baggage handler. So please, make sure your gun is unloaded.
What a shame you have to explain common sense to people. You have to request it. Could you please not be an idiot and follow the following rules?
What's that old line says? The problem with common sense is it's not really very common.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So there it is. Hey, let's take another quick break here. When we come back, we'll talk about, I don't know.
Guns, maybe?
Guns. There's a thought. I like that.
We could have a whole show about it one day.
No, I'd never go anywhere.
Hi, this is Ryan Gresham from Gun Talk. If you like guns, you need to enter our biggest giveaway ever at guntalk.com/win. One person will win more than $11,000 in guns, gear, and accessories to stuff your safe or hit the range. The grand prize includes a night vision scope and rangefinder from ATN, a custom 1911 from Auto Ordnance, a Crossbreed Holsters concealed carry pack, an FN 509 tactical pistol, the ultimate gun safe organizer pack from Gun Storage Solutions, a custom Glock 22 from Lone Wolf Distributors, clothing, range bags, and more from Proper, Remington's 870 DM and TAC 14 shotguns, plus 2 cases of buckshot, Stag Arms Stag 15 tactical rifle, Tandem Cross rimfire customization kits, a Ruger Mark IV pistol, and much, much more. Go to guntalk.com/win to enter. That's guntalk.com/win.
Okay, so got my rifles, got my scope, and I just bought, even though I have lots of binoculars, I just bought a pair of binoculars because I'm a gear geek. And
putting it modestly.
Yeah. Well, I had to have help to talk myself into it. I had to have a friend enable me to do this. The deal now is, and I've talked about it on the radio, is rangefinder, laser rangefinders are so important. And my buddy has binoculars that have laser rangefinder built in.
Cool.
And I said, yeah, but I've got good binoculars and I also have a rangefinder and all. He says, yeah. He says, but here's the thing. And I'm thinking about it going, yeah, you're right. When he looks at the deer, he knows how far it is because he sees the deer and just hits the button, zap. It is 327 yards.
Right.
When I look at the deer, then I have to reach down and pull a laser rangefinder off of my belt. It's on a little pouch there, and then zap it and get the distance, and then put the rangefinder either back in the pouch or put it down somewhere. And maybe it's a difference in 15 to 30 seconds, and probably that doesn't matter most of the time, but it could be the difference between getting the deer and not getting the deer. At least that's how my professional rationalization program went.
Right. Now, being that these are high-tech, and I'm sure they're not inexpensive.
They're not.
One guess, Dan Zelenka.
Yes. Exactly.
I knew it.
And for those who are saying, yeah, okay, so what model is it? They're the Leica Geovids.
Oh, Leica.
So I immediately went online and sold like 3 pairs of binoculars, and that's not even getting close to paying for these things, but I'll be offloading some other stuff. But I really like good glass. It's important to me to have good binoculars. And now there's other binoculars that are very good that don't cost nearly as much. And I was kind of looking to see if SIG had their binoculars with the laser rangefinder. They don't have that yet, but SIG has a really good line of optics now. And they just started that about 2-3 years ago, and the line's expanding rapidly. And when they have theirs, I know they'll be good because they have some real engineers putting that stuff together. Yeah. But since those weren't ready yet, and I am not into delayed gratification at all. No.
And you know the way he justified it, don't you, Henny? Whatever the cost, so let's say $2,000, whatever. He divided it in half. He's got 2 eyes. I didn't spend $2,000. I spent $1,000 on each eye.
Oh, no. No. You say, well, these will last me 20 years. So you divide it by 20.
Then by 2,
okay.
Right?
Then by 2, yeah. Now we're talking. Shoot, that thing costs about like the same as getting a Big Mac a week.
That's right. You learned us good, Gresham.
That's right. You have to be able to rationalize, by golly. Otherwise, how are we going to get all this cool stuff?
Right. Oh, absolutely. Speaking of cool stuff, I had a gun transfer take place at an alcohol establishment the other day.
Talk to me.
Well, not exactly. My buddy was supplying some parts for me. He said, I'm selling some stuff, and it's all, parts. None of it's, receivers or anything. So he says, such and such, here's what I got. Anybody interested? I'm like, me? So he said, okay, well, I can come over later. I said, I'm playing out tonight. Why don't you just come out to the club, my man? He said, okay. So it's an outside patio, and I'm sitting on the patio, and he pulls up. He's like waving to me, hiding behind the car. I'm like, it's okay to bring stuff. He's like, no, man, I don't know. I'm like, no, really,
it's legal. It's okay.
It's totally
honestly,
legal.
It is. It's fine.
Yeah. And so he did, and I got a 300 blackout upper.
Ooh.
I still have to get a bolt group for it, bolt carry group.
Project time.
Yeah, it is project time. And it's threaded barrel. And he's getting rid of it because when he shot it with his lower, he caught a charging handle to the cheek. And he said, screw that. And I'm like, I'll risk it. I can work around that. So I'm sure he just, the way he was sighting it, et cetera, wasn't conducive towards.
He didn't close the charging handle all the way.
Something.
He didn't push it forward till it clicked.
Could be. But he caught it. He had a little gash there on his right cheek.
Yeah.
But he wasn't interested anymore. He put the money elsewhere. And he said, I also got a couple of 100 rounds of ammo I'm never going to use. I'm like, I'll be over to get those shortly.
Okay, so do you already have a 300 blackout?
I do not. This is my first venture into.
Time to talk safety.
Yes, talk to me.
It is possible, unlikely, but possible, and it certainly has been done, to put a 300 blackout round in a 5.56 rifle and fire it.
Mm-hmm.
It blows up because you're trying to push a 30 caliber bullet through a 22 caliber hole.
Gotcha.
Not happening. So, what I recommend, and for some reason blue has become the color, is take a half a dozen AR mags and put blue tape on them or paint them blue or do something.
Nail polish something. Yeah.
Those are your blackout mags.
Okay, makes sense.
You never put blackout ammo in anything but those mags, so that if you were to pick up a magazine to put it into your 5.56 AR and it is blue, then you go, stop.
Uh-oh, right, because it will chamber. Yeah, it will chamber.
Okay. It probably, sometimes it'll chamber. It shouldn't. But AR specs kind of go all over the place, and if you got, the right combination of a loose chamber and a tight cartridge or whatever, whatever it takes.
And you're not paying attention.
And, okay. And you've got, like, several rifles at your range, which generally you're going to have your 5.56 and your 300 blackout. Mm-hmm. And now you got different ammo outs, which is one of the reasons I am such a fanatic about not having more than one caliber of ammo on the shooting bench at a time.
Right.
Having made that mistake myself and gotten a face full of powder, didn't blow up a gun, but it sure got my attention.
Right, 9s and 380s, same thing. People have problems with those.
Yeah, I shot a 270. Yeah, shot a 270 and a 7 mag. And what happened was, it's not dangerous, but the case split open and dumped all of the powder back in my face. Fortunately, I was wearing shooting glasses, so I didn't get any in my eyes.
Oh, geez.
But it's just one of those. I had two identical rifles, literally identical, Remington 700s. One's a 7 mag, one's a 270. We're swapping these things back and forth, doing some testing, and I just got careless.
Well, the idea about marking that might be a good idea also to, you put in blue nail polish, let's say, on your mags. Might be a good idea to have it in the mag well, too, or near the mag well, so when you pop it in, if you see mismatching colors, you go...
Interesting. Yeah, and then if you're going to put nail polish on, I would put a lot on it. It's like, okay, when I pick it up, I want to be able to see from across the room the blue on
I'm not talking a dot. If you went all the way around the mag well, for example,
right,
with it.
And that's why a lot of people use just a piece of tape. They get like blue gaff tape or electrician's tape to go around the mag.
Well, I just have so much extra nail polish around the house.
I see. Okay, well then, try. Yeah, that's when you're doing your KISS impersonation group out there.
Yeah. Okay. Unfortunately, I do it for myself in the living room, but that's a different story.
That's a whole different thing we're not going to be talking about. That's in your garage, or we're spinning back to your studio in your garage. So
right, soon to be, right.
Okay. Well, cool. That's really good that you scored that stuff. I kind of did a similar thing with Salenka. We had Mike Mihalski on today, and Dan had just been with Mike and had one of his Sons of Liberty rifles with him and wanted to show me that. So we had lunch together. Then we go out to the parking lot, and he flips open the back of his SUV, and we're poking around inside, and we've got this rifle, and we're looking at it and all, and I'm kind of looking around, making sure there's nobody getting crazy on us, but it's just what we do.
Yeah.
Now, I realize in some parts of the country that might be a problem. Around here, if a police officer rolled up, he would just say, well, what model is that?
What you got?
Cool.
Yeah, do you mind if I take a look?
Yeah.
That's
so,
great.
It'd be a whole different deal. So there you go.
Well, you have good luck. Both of you have good luck on your sighting. I'll just stay here slaving over a hot mixing council. It's okay, you guys.
We'll think about you and think, oh, geez, what a loser. Sorry.
I can take it.
So, all right. So basically, I'm going out to Idaho, where the temperature this morning was 29.
Awesome.
Oh, for that, because it's been like still in the 90s here.
I'm enjoying this like 50s and 60s weather. I don't know if I'm ready for 30s.
Yeah, we had 90s early in the week, and the next day it was 45.
Ooh, man, that's
okay. Make up your mind.
That's the turnover, right?
Yep.
Holy cow. Well, it's good to be football season, good football weather, and then, of course, the hockey season started, so we lose Jim at that point.
Did you say something? I'm watching highlights right now.
Yes, I understand, yes. So there's that as well. Let's see, what else is going on? The Springfield Armory Hellcat.
Oh, yeah.
It's doing very well. We had a guy call in who was commenting on, we never mentioned it, but it has a hole in the top of the slide in the rear of the hood, the barrel hood, so you can actually look down through the top of the gun and see if there's a cartridge in there. That is its loaded chamber indicator.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of like, okay, that's like as easy as it can be. You can actually see the cartridge. Cool.
That is
now,
cool.
Wouldn't work if you had a black cartridge in there. And people have made pistol ammo that had black brass.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Nitrated brass, yes.
Yep, I've actually seen that.
And it's one of the reasons why we, in these classes, you get taught how to do a press check in the dark and press your finger into the opening and pull the slide back. And that way you can check to see if you have a round in it without being able to see.
And please be careful when you do that, because many people have had that slide release on their finger.
It is a self-correcting problem.
Yes. You don't do it more than a couple times.
You generally do it once or twice. If you keep doing it over and over again, maybe you're not a good candidate for owning a gun.
Right.
It's one of those things, you know.
And if you have that much difficulty, you could still be a musician.
Okay, yeah, that's right. If you go, ow, 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 ow.
Just do it in time.
That's right.
All right.
All right, so how do you know when there's a drummer knocking at the door?
Go ahead.
The knocking gets faster and faster.
Cute.
Dum-dum.
Cute.
I did see I think I told you that I saw a guy walking in. Actually, it's when I was with Zelenka. Saw a guy walking into the place we were having lunch. We were walking out, and both of us looked at each other and looked at him, and I turned around and said, "Hey, excuse me, sir." He said, "Yeah." I said, "Your shirt. I have to look at that again." And he said, "Okay." And let me see. I got to find the picture because I got to read it exactly. Okay. I took a picture of his shirt. I went, okay. Because you know I'm a drummer, right? And my son's a drummer, and my granddaughter's a drummer. It says drums because hitting people is generally frowned upon.
Nice.
Got to get one of those.
Get your frustrations out. Amen.
There it is. Got to beat on something, right?
Yep. All right.
All right. Well, you guys take it easy. We'll be here again next week. I'll actually be doing it from up in the mountains, and that will be fun. Mm-hmm. And then I'll be able to give. Who knows? Maybe I can give you a range report on hunting at that point. That'd be cool.
Ooh.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, all righty. I can do the show while I'm butchering a deer.
And what sidearm are you going to carry?
I think I'm going to go back to the 3-inch barrel Smith 357.
Okay.
I like the revolver. I do have the 10 millimeter, the Springfield.
That's kind of what I was hoping you'd say.
Yeah, and it's a little bit big, frankly, for just carrying around. It's, full-size pistol. Mm-hmm. And it's a little bit heavy. You stick 15 rounds of 10 millimeter in it. It's a bit much. And that 3-inch barrel Smith, it's a 7-shot. They're 686 Deluxe. Nice looking.
7-round revolver?
7-round revolver, yep. So that way, if the bad guys say, he shot 6 times, he's out of ammo, then you go.
Because so many bad guys count ammo when they're getting shot at you.
Right. So talk about something out of the 50s.
So are the bear there black or they're brown as well?
We have both black bear and brown bear. We're actually grizzlies, but very few grizzlies where I'm going to be. We do have...
Only takes one.
Yeah, we have a fair number of black bears. We also have wolves, and we have a lot of mountain lions.
Okay, well, 357, work on all those.
We'll work on all of those, and I do have a wolf tag. And at first I thought, I wouldn't shoot a wolf. And then the more I've been up there and the more I have learned about how damaging they are to wildlife now, because there are just so many of them. We've had, I think, 22 or 24 cows, moo cows, killed just in our area by wolves.
So it's kind of like feral hogs are to crops and stuff.
There's just a lot of, and they are really hard on deer and elk population.
Oh, yeah.
And so the old deal of, they only killed the weak and the sick. No, they actually will go out and kill 6 elk out of a herd as a way of teaching the young how to kill. It's really something to see. So we got enough. Well, the thing is, the wildlife management people, the fish and game people, they study this, and if they say, okay, we need to take X number of wolves out because we have too many, they are the scientists on the deal, and I believe them on that. So I probably, the odds of seeing a wolf are really small. You just don't see them. But I thought, I'll go ahead and buy the tag, and if I'm out deer hunting, if I do see a wolf, if I get a shot at one, I would go ahead and do that. And so, who knows? Could happen. And then my wife said, well, then what are you going to do with it? I said, well, I'll just get a full body mount and we could put it in the living room. That did not go over well. Oh, well. But who knows? I'll make a hood ornament out of it or something. I don't know.
That'd be great.
Get it mounted so I can slide it into the car and it would sit there like it's driving.
And you wonder why we have an after show right there.
Right, because there's no other place this stuff would be okay. Actually, it's not even okay here.
Right.
But we do it nonetheless.
Right, absolutely.
There it is. All right. For those who are getting all upset, we're joking. Okay. All right, there it is. Because actually, we don't do anything that's serious around here. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much.
All right, be good.
Thank you,
safe, buddy.
Will do. Next week.
Well, that wraps up another Gun Talk After Show. But if you want even more gun-related stuff, don't forget to check out Gun Dealio. It's the app for Apple and Android phones that connects you to all the Gun Talk shows, plus even more. And we'll catch you next time for the Gun Talk After Show.